All right, so today I've got something truly wild for you. I stumbled across this document online, and it is a multi-part saga of heartbreak, memes, existential dread, and somehow a spiritual crisis that finds its climax at a 24-hour Taco Bell. It is a journey. Let's just say that.
I mean, come on. This opening line right here tells you everything you need to know. It perfectly captures the tragic, the funny, the extremely online tone of this entire story. It's basically a warning label and an invitation all at once.
So our story kicks off where so many modern tragedies do, a coffee shop. This one's called Beans and Trauma. No, I'm not kidding. And this is where our narrator, who we'll just call MC, gets a summer job and almost immediately falls into a totally doomed infatuation. Welcome to Act 1. The Summer of Simp. And here are our main players. On one side, you've got MC, who describes himself as a sentient participation trophy with a heart softer than undercooked banana bread. And on the other side, there's Stacy. The story basically says to imagine if a Pinterest board focused on cottagecore and dark academia had a baby, and that baby was raised by a Victorian ghost who was really into astrology. Yeah. You can already see the train wreck coming, can't you?
And this is the moment it all goes wrong. According to the story, Stacy gets this brilliant idea to elevate the autumn aesthetic by literally lighting cinnamon sticks on fire inside the cafe. She almost burns the whole place down. MC, our hero, puts out the fire and she turns to him, ash on her cheek, and says these fateful words. As MC puts it himself, he folded faster than a Walmart lawn chair. The crush was officially terminal.
And that brings us to the next horrifying phase of this tale. After the fire incident, Stacy officially dubs him her bestie, a word our narrator says haunts me like the ghost of a TikTok trend. This is where the dynamic enters the dreaded bestie abyss, a masterclass in losing your dignity one stolen fry at a time.
And honestly, nothing captures this dynamic better than what the author calls the fry economy. It was simple. MC would buy fries and Stacy would just eat them, calling him the fry whisperer. As you can see, it was a very one-sided flow of potatoes and affection. He was becoming, in his own words, an emotional support animal you forget to feed.
And you won't believe the kind of stuff he thought was romantic. His delusion was fueled by these absurdly platonic dates. We're talking picnics in a cemetery to ponder mortality. Then there was the night they slow danced to Mitski, which was so emotionally overwhelming for poor MC that he had to run to the bathroom and literally got sick from the romantic anxiety. He told her it was bad sushi. Of course he did.
Just when you think it can't get any worse for our guy, a rival enters the scene. Meet Greg, a coworker who wore jeans to a cafe job and quoted The Art of War. Stacy starts calling him her creative collaborator and gushing about his deep thoughts, like this little gem here. Poor MC was getting demoted from potential love interest to the guy who just refilled their inkwells.
Okay, this is it, the big moment. Fueled by sheer desperation and way too much caffeine, MC decides he has to make his move. This brings us to the climax of the whole romantic plot. The dreaded, the ill-fated, the peak cringe parking lot confession.
Now, the plan, as he laid it out, was beautifully, tragically simple. You know, straight out of a rom-com. Buy her favorite frappuccino, get her out to the parking lot, and then just pour his heart out. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Everything. Everything could go wrong. The plan fell apart almost immediately. Before she even showed up, MC had already spilled the frappuccino all over himself and ended up practicing his big confession speech on a seagull who he claims judged him. The gap between his expectations and reality was already a canyon.
And there it is, the line that shatters a universe. After MC stammers through his speech about her being his artisanal gluten-free stars, she just laughs. A full laugh. Then she pats him on the cheek and drops this soul-crushing bomb. This is the sentence that officially turns his soul into a meme and sends him into a total spiral.
And the spiral was fast. Just look at this timeline. In the span of one single hour, our guy goes from confessing his love to what he calls his Taco Bell baptism, sitting alone in their parking lot eating 12 Crunchwrap Supremes in pure shame,
A truly spiritual moment if you think about it.
Now, this rejection pushes MC into the next and maybe the weirdest phase of this whole story. See, he doesn't just get sad or move on. Oh no. He pivots. He adopts a brand new, extremely online persona to cope with the heartbreak.
So what is monkcore? Well, the author defines it for us right here. It's a total rebrand. We're talking he orders a cassock off Amazon, starts burning incense 24/7, and declares a new life of asceticism. It's less about finding inner peace and more about turning his trauma into a weaponized aesthetic.
And this is where things go completely off the rails. His monkcore journey leads him to this online spiritual collective that, let's be honest, was basically a cult. It got so unhinged. There were daily purity challenges, like eating a raw potato. There were Zoom sermons claiming Stacy was a literal demon. They even had a ritual where he had to marry the concept of rejection with a paperclip ring. He says he only left when the leader tried to recruit him into a healing crystal pyramid scheme.
You cannot make this stuff up. In what has to be the most painfully absurd twist in the entire story, Stacy, completely oblivious to all this, asks MC to officiate her wedding to another guy, some lumberjack Greg. And why? Because you're like so spiritual now. So he does it. He gets ordained online for $19.99 from a website called churchofthedivinediscount.com, the final humiliation.
Which brings us to the grand finale. After officiating the wedding, having a breakdown, and reportedly eating a floral centerpiece, MC finally finds his true calling. He achieves this weird, nihilistic kind of peace in the most unlikely holy place imaginable.
He finds his enlightenment as the self-proclaimed Reverend Diablo of a 24-hour Taco Bell, where the manager apparently lets him sleep in a booth. He even develops a new theology. For him, penance is eating Diablo sauce straight from the packet. Communion is a shared order of nacho fries, and absolution, that's the piece that comes from paying the upcharge for extra cheese.
And if you thought it couldn't get any more meta, this all culminates in the single greatest piece of self-aware commentary I've ever seen. Our narrator, MC, writes a Yelp review about his own existence. He gives himself a solid 2 stars.
The review itself is just perfect. It sums up his whole journey, from a hopeless romantic to this weird, haunted figure. He calls himself a total mess who haunts his own life like a ghost who forgot why it's mad. But he admits the sacramental Diablo sauce slaps. It's the ultimate blend of deep sadness and fast food pragmatism.
So after all that, after this epic tale of unrequited love, weird internet cults, and Crunchwrap Supremes, you gotta ask, right? What's the moral here? What are we supposed to take away from MC's spectacular descent into madness?
And maybe this is the answer. Maybe true enlightenment isn't some big, grand spiritual moment. Maybe it's not about finding the one. Maybe it's just about accepting the messy, absurd, and often disappointing reality of being alive and realizing that sometimes the void you yeet your soul into just has really, really bad reception.